Story originally chronicled by Nuala Curien, collected by Seer Alexandria Curien, and expanded by Wheatsily Nikali. After the burial of her child, Greta recovered in the asylum, silent from that day forward, responsive to what people were saying, but just barely. It isn't known if someone told her what happened to her child, or if she just knew somehow. What is known was that after many long months, she was eventually released and allowed to return home. At the Curien estate, Greta passed the long hours usually by stitching together clothing or dolls. When asked if they were for anyone, she would only shake her head. She would take care of herself, and she would sometimes spend quiet evenings with her remaining children. However, she seemed to want to forget the world, and the world seemed to forget her. Greta never asked about her stillborn, even when I told her about what happened. She never looked up from her stitching and sewing. New patterns, new clothes, and new dolls. However, there was a curiosity that started to occur in town. When Greta returned home, residents in the village found that if they gossiped about the Curien family, especially in any way that was negative, cruel, or implied that they were villainous in any way, they would wake up with their mouths sewn shut. If the rumor was minor or factual, they may find that the threads could be torn easily by opening their mouths. Painful, but easy to remove. Others with harsher words would find threads that would have to be cut with a blade, their lips sewn so tightly that even the most steady hand would draw blood removing the thread. The very worst offenders, however, would find their lips sewn shut with golden thread that proved impossible to untie and impossible to cut even with the sharpest of blades. Seer, druid, priest, hero, mage, and godling alike found themselves unable to remove the golden thread. They only had two hopes for survival. They could hydrate and feed themselves intravenously, like someone recovering from cholera for the rest of their lives, likely to die of an eventual infection or a missed nutrient leading to malnutrition. Or they could have their lips completely removed, the flesh around the strings removed. If they survive, they struggle to eat, they struggle to drink, they struggle to speak. And gods help those who had their lips removed and they still try to gossip about the Curien family. They don't survive having what is left of their mouth sewn together in a mess too harsh for even the best mortician to cover, especially with the unbreakable golden thread through both flesh and bone alike. The people of the town learned quickly what rules applied. They couldn't speak any gossip about the Curien family, not in the same sentence as the Curien name. They could use kind words, they could use kind tones, but they couldn't use an unkind tone nor unkind words about the Curiens. So the people of the town learned to never say anything harsh about the Curiens without using euphemism or entendre. They could be addressed as the family in the woods, the wealthy home. The local lords and people in the village grew clever with their euphemism, possibly because of so much experience in dealing with the fair folk. The people in the village also learned that writing things down did not draw the ire of the weaver. It was not known why, but became a way of explaining what happened with the Curiens and what happened with the others. A written record that could endure when words failed. They also learned that leaving the village didn't exempt them from punishment. It was learned that if you were born in the village, or that if you slept overnight in the village, the curse would follow you. And while it was never proven, it was believed to have been caused by Greta. The thread was similar to what she used in her sewing and stitching, so it became important to everyone to keep the stories of the Curien in euphemism, in written word, or to keep it to purely factual information. The very fact that saying it was Greta who was sewing the lips shut didn't cause any lips to be sewn shut only cemented the fact that it was Greta who was somehow able to sew people's lips shut while they sleep, even while they were countries away, a power that is, to this day, not understood. In less than 2 years after the stillbirth, Greta died, peacefully, in her sleep, still clutching the needle and thread she held all those years. She was mute for the last 2 years of her life. Her funeral was quiet, just the family and staff. And it was assumed, or maybe hoped, that lips would stop being sewn after Greta's death. Trouble was, lips would still be sewn after Greta's death. The pattern continued. If you shared rumors about the Curien family, the next time you slept, your lips would be sewn shut, whether you were in the village or on a different continent. All it took was spending one night in the village, and the curse would follow you. And while the villagers were certain that it was Greta, they didn't know the details of it. Not for a long time. In 2753, someone intentionally shared a spiteful rumor of the Curien family, a rumor that Greta cheated on her husband. Then they set up a camera in their bedroom to record all night. Cameras made to record the entire night, so if anything could be viewed, it could be seen. For hours, nothing special could be seen, not until the witching hour. At 3 a.m., from beneath the subject's bed, something shadowy crawled out from underneath the bed. The figure was dressed in a widow's cap and a black dress. The weaver produced the thread and needle, both shone gold, as the figure pushed the needle into the lips. In and out, in and out. The thread following the needle as the weaver sewed the lips together. Somehow no pain was felt as the subject's lips were sewn together. Now finally sewn together, the weaver turned to the camera, her face hidden in shadow, her eyes shining beneath the hood, as the weaver produced golden scissors from within her dark cloak, and she cut the line, leaving the subject with their lips sewn, as she glanced again at the camera before she vanished beneath the bed again. All further attempts of trying to catch the worn wordless weaver on camera had similar results, or any attempts to keep her away. She would appear from somewhere off camera and sew together the lips of the rumor monger. Always when they fell asleep, and whenever they fell asleep, it would be impossible to wake them up. Alarms would be ignored. If there was someone guarding them, they would fall asleep when the weaver appeared. If there was a trap to catch or harm the weaver, it wouldn't go off. Lines of salt, iron, or silver were ignored by the weaver. Holy relics, symbols, sigils, and signs painted or hung on the wall only slowed the weaver as she glanced at the relics before she continued her grim task. The only known way to keep the worn wordless weaver from sewing your lips shut is by hiding on holy ground before you sleep. For whatever reason, the weaver, like her husband, is unable to enter holy ground. It matters not the faith, only that the faith is genuine. Monastery, church, temple, synagogue, mosque, graveyards, shrines, viharas, halls of learnings, even some libraries all count as holy land and can be safely rested on without fear of the weaver's needle and thread. But unlike her husband, the worn, wordless weaver will pursue, and she will pursue endlessly. Anytime you sleep, and you sleep away from holy ground, she will find you, and she will sew your lips together. And while you can leave holy ground while you are awake, is it possible for you to spend the rest of your life only sleeping on holy ground? Would you be someone willing to live the rest of your life in a monastery or nunnery, serving your god or gods with all of your heart and power in exchange for safety from a shadow that always follows you? Or would you be willing to work as a graveyard sexton, dealing with the graveyard ghosts to avoid the ghost that stalks you? There are plenty of graveyards that require live-in sextons, and very few of them ask questions. You may even live long enough to be a harbinger, offering words of wisdom that few in your village will ever share. Since you are already cursed, what is one curse more? Or you can live the life of a nomad, moving from holy ground to holy ground, traveling during the day and asking for sanctuary at night, to have a place to sleep during the night. Can you live your life that way with no permanent home and never knowing where your next place to sleep is? Can you travel from town to town, city to city, country to country, continent to continent? And can you do so by refusing to ever sleep while you travel? That ultimately becomes a question of what is easier for you? Is it easier to spend your entire life only sleeping on holy ground? Is it easier for you to remove your own lips to keep them from being sealed shut? Or is it easiest for you to just keep your mouth shut?